Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Ashrafil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So I'm going to do a bit of revision of what we did the last time. Yeah. And then we're going to go on a topic which some grammarians say is one of the more difficult topics in Nahu. Okay, so inshallah, may Allah make it easy for me to share what I know and for you to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, inshallah. So let's do that from the beginning. So what we did last week was, because Sister Bibi wasn't here, we basically went through what needs to be done when we do I'rab. Yeah, what needs to be done when we do I'rab. And we know that first you need to identify the word that you're making I'rab for. Yes, whether it's a fi'il, isim, or a harf. Okay, so we know how an isim looks like, a fi'il looks like, and what a harf looks like. This one we will get better and better at as we go along doing our Irab of Surah Yasin. Okay, then we have to state the status of that word. Okay, we know this. And then tell everyone why we said this is the status of the word. Yeah, what's the sign? And if the sign is not the default sign, yes, if the sign is not the default sign, we have to say what is the sign that is in its place. Yeah, niabatan an, and why. Why is it niabatan an and not the original sign? Yeah. Then, of course, we have to know what this word is in the sentence. Now, this part we are not going to cover yet. Yeah, we're going to cover this later. We're just going to tackle this tree first. This tree is quite enough for the time being. Okay, so what were the signs that we looked at? The original signs, alamatun uh, asliyah, yes, the original signs, and the far'iyah. Yeah, far'iyah. So you can understand asliya as maybe the main trunk of a tree, yes, a pokok, and then far'iyah are the branches. Okay, so it's actually describing the same thing, but either we're using the main term for it or a term that we can use in its place. Yeah, so asliya, far'iyah. So the asliyah ones we're very familiar with, the rafa, which is the dhamma sign, nasab, the fatha sign, jar, the kasra sign, and for jazm is sukun, yes. And the far'iyah, waw, alif, ya, fatha, and kasra, yes. So we see that some of the asli signs are there. So why did this happen? Okay, why did this happen? So then we went on to look at the table that we were taught when we did access. That's the Muslim chart. So I've kind of like compressed everything onto one slide here. And we see that for isms, okay, isms, we're not talking about fi'ils at the moment. We're just talking about isms, nouns. We are only dealing with the plural form of that noun, the dual and the singular. And the states for isms are rafa, nasab, and jar. Yeah, we learned a little that fi'ils will be rafa, nasab, and jazm. Yeah, that's the difference. In fact, the sign of an isim is that it can become jar. It can become jar. Yeah, when the dhamma and the fatha is brought down or dragged down, we call that jar. Yeah, jar is actually to drag something down. So Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, and we said that these were the ending sounds. This helps. This is a good term, an ending combination, because it's not just a sound, it's actually the letters that you're looking at. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's that. And then we went on to actually write out the statement of I'rab. Yeah. So I've tried to compress it as well. So we're looking at the singular here. So this is quite simple. Marfu is dhamma. Yeah, the marfu sign is dhamma. So first, the type of word, it's an isim. What's the status? What's the sign? Yeah, and we are not going to discuss the function yet because we have this word by itself. It's not in a sentence, so we cannot say what the function is as yet. Okay, so we just look at this sentence first. And I've added here zahirah. Zahirah, that means it can be seen. This sign can be seen. The Dhamma sign can be seen, and can it be seen at the end of the word. Yeah. So in this case, like I said, when the sign is not the default sign, not the asli sign, not the trunk, it's a branch instead, then we will say the sign. In this case, it's alif. Yes, this alif here. And why is it alif? Because it is musanna. Because it is musanna. So it is alif in the place of the dhamma. This one. Then we have the plurals. Yes, the plurals. One for the masculine, one for the feminine. Yes. So wow is for the masculine. Yeah. And for the feminine, it's still dhamma. It's still dhamma. It's still zahir. Yeah? And it is on top of the ta'nis. Yeah? So this is your rafa slide, so to speak. So we go to the nasab slide now. Oh yes, another term that we can use instead of niabatan an is actually bidalan minat dhamma. Yeah, what is exchanged uh, from the dhamma. Yeah, from the dhamma in the place. Okay, so this is now the mansub. Mansub, we know the sound is an with a fathah on top, and we can see it. We can see it. Yeah, and here it is now no longer the main or asli sign. Yes, instead it is something else. It's ya now. So then we have to say niabatan an. And why? Because it is musanna. And here the same thing for both the plurals. One is still ya. The other one is kasrah. Ah, so this is where we get the first sign, so-called asli sign that is not asli. Yeah. So remember the slide that we saw just now on this one. These two, although it looks as if it's an asli sign, but actually it's become far'iyah. So now we see the first case where it is kasrah, but it is far'iyah in the case of atin, the plural sign for nasab, feminine plural sign for nasab. Sorry. So here we are. This is the first departure, so to speak, yeah, that we use the same term as the asli, but actually it's far'iyah. Okay. Then we have the last, this for an isim, which is majrur. Yeah. So in this case, it's here that it departs and here that it departs. Yes, for your musanna and your muzakkar. But as far as the plural is concerned, it's still majrur and still using kasra. Right? Okay, now the idea. Remember, we talked about the idea, which is masdar. And what I want to highlight here, which we didn't do last week, is that there is no dual or plural for the masdar unless there is a reason. Okay. Remember, I said that the masdar in English means jaran. Jaran are words with ing endings. Yes, eating, thinking, sleeping. Yeah, the idea of doing something. That's what a masdar is all about. Okay, so whether you sleep twice or whether you sleep a lot, you just sleep. So it doesn't make sense to have a dual or plural for a masdar. Yes, unless of course reasons like this. Okay. Now, one possible reason, if there are different types of that idea, okay, different types of that idea. So, what do I mean by that? So, for example, in fiqh, fiqh, we learn fiqh about the rulings of our religion in terms of ibadah. Yeah, there is a chapter called al-buyu'. Al-buyu' is the plural of al-bai'. Al-bai' is the masdar for the fi'il ba'a yabi'u, to sell. So in this case, it means different types of selling or trading. Then it makes sense to have a plural. Okay? Then it makes sense to have a plural. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because it's just an idea. So then we also need to remember that an idea is not an intelligent being. Yeah, meaning that this is what we call right akil. Sorry. Okay. So when it is not an intelligent being, we do not use the una or ina endings. Yes, this is something Sister BV is very familiar with. What about you, Sister Asila? Are you okay with this?
I'm trying.
You're trying. Okay.
Yeah.
So when it is not an intelligent being, just remember that we don't have the una and ina ending. Okay? No, okay. So if that's the case, remember our table that we saw about the Muslim chart. This one, this table. Okay. So this is Muslimun. This is ism fa'il. So obviously, an ism fa'il is a human being. Okay, it's an intelligent being. So we have no issues with una or ina. We have no issues with una or ina. So if now, for example, instead of putting the isim fa'il in this table, I put the masdar. This is family, if family 2, yeah? Sorry, family 4. Aslama, yuslimu, right? This one, muslimun. And the masdar is ta'aliman. Yeah, the masdar is ta'aliman. No. This is not it.
Islam.
No, Islam, sorry. Islam is not the family then. What I wanted, it was actually ta'liman, right? Not this one.
Then it
Okay, never
should be
mind.
Sallama
Sallama, yusallimu, then
Taslim.
only tasliman. Yeah. But what I wanted to show you was allama, yu'allimu. Yeah. So it's mu'allim. It should be mu'allim here. Are you okay here, Sister Asila? I know Sister BV is very good at this. Okay, so instead of sin, lam, and mim, actually it should be mu'limun. Mu'allim. Yeah, mu'allim.
Muallimun. Yeah.
Mu'allimun. But in this case, it's Muslim. It's a different family altogether. I will replace this slide, yeah, with the family that I'm looking at. But nevertheless, the concept is still the same. Okay, the concept is still the same. Um, if, like I said just now, yes, there are no una and ina endings, yes, what can we use in the place of una and ina to show that it is a plural? If you can imagine, this is not Muslimun. This is Mu'allim, yes, Mu'allim instead of Muslimun. Uh, what would be the ending here?
Mu-
The una and ina.
Muallimuna. Right?
But it's not intelligent, right? This is a masdar.
No, you said is Muallim is in fa'il. You're talking about ta'aliman?
Yeah, talking about ta'liman. If we put
Ta'limun.
ta'liman
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
ta'limun here, okay, and
Yeah.
so what would be the ending here?
Ta'limatun.
Ta'limatun.
Yes. For the Rafa.
Rafa.
Hmm.
Okay. And the verb here,
Ta'limatin
ta'limatin,
and ta'limati.
ta'limatin.
Hmm.
Maybe I should change this to the
Master.
yeah, I will. This is
Hmm.
the masdar. Okay, this is what the
There
masdar
it's
is.
here. Okay.
Ta'limun, ta'limani, ta'limatun. Okay, ta'limatun. No, the thing was this one should be sorry. This should be the right the right root letters. The root letters are not right.
So which family is that?
Okay. Uh, this one would be ta'liman is your alama, the one with the shadda, second
Okay.
family two. Family two. So family two will be mu'allim. Mu'allim. Mu'allimani. Mu'allim. Mu'allim. So I will replace this with the one that goes with the ain, lam.
Mm.
Right. So we saw just now everything, the waw, alif, nun, ya, and we know why there is a kasrah because of the atin for the nasab case of the plural of the feminine. Yeah. So one more case that we need to tackle, and this is one of the more, like I said, the most difficult thing to tackle in terms of Irab in Nahu. Yes, the fatha. Yes, the fatha. So when does an isim behave like a fi'il? Have we come across this before? When does an isim behave like a
Isim
we said
fa'il.
that well, we said that an isim can be majrur. Yes, the signs of an isim is it can be a majrur. It has tanween. It takes on alif lam. Yes, these were the signs. Jar, tanween, and al. These are the signs of an isim. Yeah, there are other signs as well. And a fi'il, on the other hand, cannot be majrur. Yes, it can only be majzum. Yeah. So the question is, when does an isim behave like a fi'il? And I was saying to you that the one sign that we haven't dealt with is when it is a sign that is different from what we expect. And this was fatha. Yes, this was fatha. And what we are going to study now or go over now is this case. When an isim behaves like a fi'il, we are going to have this fatha thing. We're going to have this alamat fatha. Okay? So this is the term that we're going to learn about, mamnu' min al-sarf. Have you heard of this before, Sister Asila?
No.
This is the first time?
Yeah.
Okay, because this is covered in Dream. This is covered in Dream as well, and they have used the term. So maybe perhaps you have not set for that particular session, yeah. But this is so important also. So I can go over this again and again until you get it, yeah, because it's so important to understand mamnu' min al-sarf because it appears in the Quran. Yes, it appears in the Quran, not once or twice, but a number of times. Okay, mamnu' min
Maybe
al-sarf.
partly flexible. You recognize partly flexible?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
it is. Mm.
Okay.
so but you need to pick up this word because this is what
Mm.
is in the Arabic word. Okay, nasab. Yes, we can call it partly flexible. So look at this sentence. Look at this sentence and this sentence. Okay, what do you notice? This one I will address Sister Asila. What do you notice with these three sentences? This is a fi'il. This is the fa'il. This is the maf'ul bihi. You know the maf'ul bihi is always mansub. We know the fa'il is marfu. Yes, and this is the fi'il. And this is half of jar. This is half of jar. And we always say half of jar goes with an isim. This is another sign of an isim. If you see a half of jar before a word, you know the word that follows it is an isim. Okay. And then here we have actually a mausuf and sifah combination. Mausuf, sifah combination. This word here is feminine. This word here is also feminine. Yeah. Alif Hamzah is actually a sign of something being feminine. just like the tamaputa. Yeah, but there's something not quite what it should be in all these three cases. So can you see what it is? Can you tell me what it is?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Not supposed to be
The first
it's
line.
supposed to be
What's wrong?
kasra.
What is different between in the first line? What is different about the first line? The default status of an isim is rafa, and if nothing changes the isim actually always ends with a tanween.
Okay, and there's an alif there.
Tanween is a double thing. Either it's domatain, fathatain, or kasratain.
But
So this is double, so this is okay. This is fine. This is mansub, and it has two. But what else in the sentence that's not quite what it should be?
I don't know.
If this is an isim and this is an isim, right? This is mansub with fathatain, tanween. This is rafa with just dhamma. What's missing here?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay. Because we said just now, isims, if and their default status, their natural status is always with a tanween at the end. Right? Only certain things make it not tanween. Heavy. The word is heavy. Okay. But in this case, this is light. Yeah. There's a reason why this is light. Yeah. So this is one case. In this case, this is half of jar. That sign should have been pulled down here as kasrah, right? Because it's half of jar. This is umari. But even here pun, it should be umarin, not rin, because default status in terms of heavy or light is always heavy, unless something is making it light. Yes? So this should have been Usmanun Zaidan. This should have been Umarin. Zahabtu ila Umarin. But it's not. This is light. This is light as well as it's not kasrah, it's fathah. So two things are happening here. One thing is happening here. Correct status, but there's no tanween. Looks as if it's the wrong status because there's half a jar, but it's not being pulled down. At the same time, it doesn't have a tanween. Yeah? So light, and it's not jar. And here, of course, the same thing. This is heavy. This is light. This is kasrah. This is fathah. They're supposed to be mausuf and sifah. Yeah? So that's what's different about these three sentences. Does that make the sentence wrong? No. In this case, it does not make the sentence wrong. This is what we call mamnu mursal, partly flexible. Okay, so this is something that you need to notice. Okay, so can you say to me what was the difference here? What was missing here, Sister Asila?
The tanween.
Correct, the tanween.
First one is light, and the second one is not light.
This one?
This is supposed to be kasra, but it didn't become kasra.
And it's also light.
And it's also light.
Okay. This one?
Also supposed to be kasra. And one is light, and one is heavy.
Yeah, so this one has to be heavy as well. Yeah, by right. By right. Okay, so this is the definition of manu mursal. Very simple definition. So when does an isim behave like a fi'il? When I say this, what I actually mean is when can an isim not take a jar, okay? Not take a jar sign, Okay, it doesn't have a kasra. It cannot take a kasra. So why do we say it resembles a fi'il? First, the isim doesn't come with a tanween. Then it's behaving like a fi'il, okay? Because tanweens don't appear on fi'ils. And then it does not come with a kasra. Yes? Yeah, by right, isims can become jar, but this one doesn't. So now it's behaving like a fi'il. Okay? So the word mamnu' comes from the root letters mim, nun, ain. Yeah, like I said during the first lesson, if there is a new word that you learn, you need to look up the root letters. Okay? So this is mim, ain, and it means to forbid, to prevent. So when it was jar, it was prevented from safing. Safing is to change from fatha to kasra. Sorry, from dhamma to kasra. Yeah. So then it also was prevented from taking on the heaviness, the tanween. Yeah. So these are the two things that will happen when an isim is defined as mamnu' min al-sarf or partly flexible. The easier term would be partly flexible. Yeah. So when it's prevented from safing, it is prevented from taking the tanween. Okay? And it's also prevented from taking the kasra, meaning that it shows its jarness. We call it jarness. Yeah. Should with fatha instead of kasra, it shows the jarness with fatha. Yeah. Yujaru is to become jar. Yeah. This is the fi'il mudari. And then that means tanwin. What are the root letters for tanwin, Sister Vivi?
Tanween. Nun, wow, nun. Am I right?
Okay.
Nawana, Yunavinu, Tanween. Yeah. I think it's nun, wow.
It's actually how do you say? It's also another takliman, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Family two.
So it's family too.
So it will be Nawana, Yunavinu, Tanweenan.
So this would be the pasta as well. Yeah. This would
Hmm.
be that family. Okay. Now, why does this occur? Okay. We won't ask the question why, because if we ask the question why, it's a very difficult topic to answer. This is very advanced grammar. Yeah. So we're not going to ask why this happens, but what we're going to do is we're going to recognize when it happens. Okay. When it happens, we need to recognize, at least recognize a mamnu minal saf or partly flexible isim. Okay. This is what we need to do. There are two classes of partly flexible isms. The first class, you only require one reason for it to be partly flexible. Yeah, just one reason. The second class, you need two reasons for it to occur. Okay, the first class, one reason. The second class, two reasons. Now, what in heaven's name do I mean? Oh. So if it's one reason, we're looking at this sort of situation. Okay, when we are looking at an isim that ends with an alif ta'nis. This is a feminine alif. Alif that shows that it is feminine. Like I said just now, the alif hamzah. Yes, the alif hamzah. So maqsurah, mamduda. Yeah, mamduda, sorry. Spelling mistake again. Okay, I'll correct it inshallah. So feminine isims ending with ya or alif hamzah. Yes, and this alif hamzah has to be preceded by three letters for this to happen. Yes, like this one. Oh, I don't have it here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3. This is the name of a girl, Shaima. So this is Laila, which means night. Zikra, sorry, not Zikri, Zikra, Dunya. Yeah, I don't know why the kasras are down there. Hold on, let me correct that. So this is Zikra, Dunya, Laila. Shaima is the name of a girl. Yeah. So this is one case. If this happens, that you know it's partly flexible. Yes, you know it's partly flexible. The other one is what we call Sirah Muntahal Jumu. Sirah Muntahal Jumu. Muntaha is actually the peak, the highest level possible. Yeah. So when we look at this, the English version is what Ustad Numan calls the super plural. Okay, the super plural. That means lots and lots of whatever isim that we're looking at. So it comes in two patterns, mafa'il and mafa'il. Yeah, mafa'il, mafa'il. Yes. So the examples is masajid, mafatih, and kanadil. Kanadil. Yeah, kanadil is lamps or things like that. That's shiny up in the sky. Yeah. So masabih is another one. Masabih is stars. Yeah. So that is the pattern of mafa'il, masabih. So you put in any root letters here in this pattern and it comes out that, then you know it is also going to be partly flexible. Mamnu min sarf, prevented from changing.
Sister Zuraidah, your mic is muted.
Sorry. Okay, where did I stop just now? Where were we? Where in this slide did I
Yeah,
not say anything? Uh,
from the other slide. We
from the
didn't
others.
hear the slide. Yeah, the first,
Okay,
the
okay,
next
all
slide.
right. So in this case, you have to have two reasons before it is valid. Okay, so we have two sets of reasons here. One is alamiyah, the other one is safiyah. Yes, alamiyah, safiyah. This means names, pronouns, proper names, not pronouns, sorry, proper names. Okay, it can be proper names of a person, man, woman, yeah, a place, proper names for our months, yeah, like January, February, March, April, May. Yes, so that sort of proper noun that I'm talking about. Yes, and Safia. Now I need to explain this word. Okay, I need to explain this word. Ukhra, you know, ukhra is and some other. Yeah, this is other. So that means it has to be not only a name, but one of these. The one that are highlighted in orange and yellow actually. Orange and yellow, yeah, ukhra. So for under proper names, you have this list of other things that it has to join with or uh, have partners with before you can say it is partly flexible. Okay, and then under the sifah thing, right? This one is just these three. The others that you see here is not you don't pair it with this. Yes, you just pair it these with this one. Yeah, but it's about this, it's the same thing. This one is alif and nun. When you add alif and nun at the end, when the noun ends with alif and nun, yes, like in this case, the name Osman, for example, or this quality Ghadban, yeah, Osman Ghadban, name, quality, or description. And then we have something called adl. This one we'll go through later, a little while. And when the noun comes in the form of a fi'il, it looks like a fi'il. Like this, for example, right? Ahmad looks like a fi'il. It could be Ahmadu, yes, which is family for, or it could be Yazidu, yes, or Yashkur. But actually, these are names. Yazid is a name, yeah. Ahmad is a name. So when the name is in this sort of form, then it's also partly flexible. Here it's a quality that looks like a verb. Ahsan, ahdal, ahma, color, the color. Yeah? So it has to be name and something else, or sorry, description and something else. Yeah, name, something else. Then and only then it becomes partly flexible. So now I need to explain to you what this is about. I'm going to come out from the slide, yeah, and I'm going to into my Word document, inshallah. If I get a blank Word document out. How big a letter do I need to make this so that you all can see? Is this okay? I'm going to write in English, okay? I'm going to write in English. So when we talk about wasp, the one that you saw just now, this one is, this is the Arabic term, wasp. Yeah. Or the feminine version is wasfiyah, the one that you saw just now. Yeah. This is actually what we say in Saf. This is a terminology that we use in Saf. Okay? If it were Nahu, we would use Sifa. Just Sifa. Remember when the first day we started our classes, I said that when you go across the different sciences, different things mean different meanings. Yeah, this is Nahu, sorry. The same word means different things. So wasf, wasfiyah, sifa. Yeah? When you look at wasf, it's in Saf, right? It is actually describing a quality. Yeah. For example, under Saf, for example, let's go to the English words. When we want to say angry, we just say angry. Yes, this is a quality, angry. Yeah. And when we want to say a sentence in a sentence, he is angry. Right? This is a quality. This is still a quality, a description. He is angry. What is he? He's angry. Okay, or he's hungry, or whatever it is. Okay. But when you say something like this in Nahu, he is an angry man. He is an angry man. Angry here is a sifa of man. Yeah? Is a sifa of man. It's tied to something. A sifa must have a mausuf, or the thing that it's describing when you do it in Nahu. Okay, so Nahu, you must have mausuf and sifa. You cannot have sifa by itself. It must be describing something. But in Saf, when you talk about wasp or wasfiyah, yeah, it's a quality on its own. And it's not necessarily a sifa. Not necessarily a sifa. What other color can I give it? Yeah, he is angry. Yes, this is just something to describe the mood that he's in. Yeah, he is angry. This, on the other hand, he is an angry man. Okay, so this is the difference between wasfiyah, and sifa in Nahu, sifa in Saf. Yeah, any question there? Is that clear? Or my mic is on, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Like this one.
alhamdulillah. Okay, so just to know, because okay, another, maybe this is not quite this is something different. Okay, this is another one under Saf, for example, under Saf. Yeah, just to tell you the difference between Saf and Nahu. Saf, for example, yeah, you have isim fa'il. You know isim fa'il, right? Isim fa'il. This is one form of an isim, yeah, isim fa'il. So let's give the English version. When you have isim fa'il, we have the word er attached to the end of the words, right? So we have an isim fa'il that is teacher. isim fa'il, teacher. But when you apply the word teacher in Nahu, yeah, we're going to the next page now. Nahu, it can be a number of things. It's not just teacher as in the word teacher, yeah, because Saf is all about the word, right? But in terms of Nahu, teacher can be many things. So, for example, he is a teacher. Teacher here is mubtada. Habar and mubtada. So this is mubtada. Yeah. Or I saw a teacher. Sorry. Teacher here now is maf'ul bihi. Yeah. And then we went to the house of the right, house of the teacher. It's now the word after of, yeah, house of a teacher, for example. Okay. So it doesn't change. It's an isim fa'il all the time. This is isim fa'il, isim fa'il, isim fa'il, as far as Saf is concerned. But for Nahu, it changes. So this one is Habar. Yeah, sorry. This one is Maf'ul. And this one is word after of. So back to this one just now. This is the difference. This one is typed to the Mawsuf. This is not typed to anything. It's just a quality. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue what we're doing. So now the two reasons. First reason, when it's a name and it's a foreign name. It's not an Arabic name. Those are things like Ibrahim, Yusuf, yes? And Israel, for example. These are foreign names. So they are partly flexible, meaning it cannot take jar, it cannot take tanwin. Yeah, so one. The other thing is when it's a name and it is feminine. It's a feminine name. Okay, and about the feminine name thing is you can be feminine in three different ways. Okay, Fatimah, Fatimah. This is when you say it, it sounds feminine, and the meaning is feminine. Fatimah, you have the tamabuta at the end, right? So this is feminine and it has the tamabuta. So it's mu'annas in terms of lafzan as well as ma'na. On the other hand, we also have ta'nis. Like Zainab, we know it's a lady's name, right? So it is mu'annas in terms of meaning only, but not in the pronunciation. There's no tamabuta at the end of Zainab. Yeah? Then the third category of ta'nis is when it is not feminine. Yes, it's only feminine in terms of how we say it, because there's a tamabuta at the end of talha, for example. Yeah. What other men's name has a tamabuta at the end? Can you think of one? Talha,
Hamza,
Hamza. What else? Any names?
Muawiyah.
Awiyah, yeah.
Mm.
So these are all guys, and they are feminine in terms of sound, but they are not feminine in terms of meaning. But either way, all three cases come under this category. They become partly flexible. Yeah, mamnu min as-sarf. Okay. Then when it's a name and it is what we call a compound name. Yeah? Tarkib majzi. Masjini means to combine. Yeah, masji is to combine. Tarkib is to put together and combine. Yeah, something like that. So, for example, this one, it comes from the word hadra and maut, but they made it one place. Hadra maut, the presence of death. Okay, Then Dina is actually Din and Nar. Yeah? Dinar actually, how do you say? Mm, how can I say whether it's the religion of fire? No, can't be. So because it's money, right? Then the people say that money is the root of all evil. Okay, so that's how this term came about, dinar. So Hadramaut, dinar. Yes, so these are like examples of what we call a complex name. So combination of two names to become one. Like baklava. Baklava is also another example of that. Yeah. So this is something also what we call partly flexible, cannot accept kasra, cannot accept tanween. Yeah. The other one is alif waw nun. This is not to be confused with your ani in your dual. Yeah, this is not your dual sound. Yeah. So usma, this can actually go this noon actually supposed to go to Osmanun, yeah, Osmanu or Osmana, yeah. So it can have that, but it's not to be confused with your dual alif and nun, yeah. So the Hamdan, for example, that's another name. Then Adl, hmm, not an easy thing to explain because it's actually the origin of this name is not Omar, yeah. The origin of the name is actually Amar. But or people change it and become something else. So that's what adl is about. It's how do you say when it deviates from the original name. Yeah, this means rainbow, by the way, because but the easiest way to remember this rule maybe is not to remember the word adl. Adl here doesn't mean justice. Yes, it just means to deviate. It's just to remember the pattern for alu. Yeah, so then it's easier for you to think of it. But the thing, this applies only for the name. When it comes to the wasp, no, it is different. The pattern is not there anymore. So you just need to understand that certain things, like in this case, certain numbers, yeah, that starts with u, tulas, ruba. Uhar is actually not a number. Yeah, uhar is not a number. It's one of those words that exist on its own. Yeah, but it's considered mamnu minasab because it doesn't have a jar at the end. Yeah, uhara. Uhara. It's just like mabni in that form only. So this category is probably the more difficult one to remember. But because it's difficult to remember in terms of example, it should stand out in your head. Yeah, because this category together either with a name or a description, yeah, is partly flexible. Okay, and here like I think I went through this earlier, yeah, for the name in the terms of a verb like Ahmad, Yazid, yeah, Yashkur, Ahsan, Afdal, Ahmad is the color, yeah. They are all descriptions, yeah. So for this, you have to have both together before it becomes partly flexible. If it's just a name like Muhammad, then of course it's not partly flexible because it's not ujma. It is actually Arabic, right? So next question is, can you give me the name of the four prophets? Four prophets that who were Arabs? Knows this?
Shoaib,
Yes, Shu'aib. One. Shu'aib. Yes.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Saleh.
Salih. One more. Brother Hazim is very quiet. Muhammad Salih. Shu'aib. One more.
Lut or no?
Lut and Noah are not Arabic.
Okay.
Actually, it's Nabi Hud. Yeah, Nabi Hud.
Oh, okay. The
Ah,
Ud was near.
Hud. Yes. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Saleh, Hud, and Shuaib alaihi salam. So these are the four Arab prophets. Yeah. Okay, but if you have a non-Arab name, with 3 letters, like you said, lut, yeah, or nuh, then it becomes apa tu? It becomes flexible. Yeah, because you have nuhan, nuhun, nuhin. Yeah, so they become partly flexible. When it is 3 letters with a sukun, the- okay, right. So now we look at our statements of I'rab. How do we say it? How do we say it? Now, Laila is special. Okay? Laila is actually going to be our next topic, the next thing that we're going to discuss, because we're going to discuss something called muqaddara. All this while, we have been saying niyabatan an, or what is it? What's the other term that we can use? Can you remember what was the other term that we can do apart from niyabatan an?
Bidalan. Bidalan is it? Badalan or bidalan?
Yes, bidalan. Yeah,
Bidalan.
bidalan.
No,
Yeah. So this is the other term that you will see in the Irab books as well. So we've been using this all this while, and we can use this, no problem. Yeah, but happen now. Okay, let me get back to where we were. So for Laila, actually 2 things are happening with Laila. Yeah, 2 things are happening with Laila. It cannot take kasra, but the thing with Laila is because there's an alif maksura at the end. Yeah. It also, you cannot see the change. You cannot see the change. Like the others just now that we saw, right? When we were looking at this slide, we're looking at this one, you can still see, yeah? You can still see that this is not a kasra, this is a fatha. This is not a kasra, this is a fatha, yeah? So we could see it. But with Laila, we couldn't because of the alif, yeah? So this makes it one step more special. But for the time being, we will still use niyabatan. Yeah, niyabatan, because the original sign is actually kasrah, but what we see here is fatha. Yeah, but see the fatha is on the lam. Okay. So then we have to explain why, if this is the case, why isn't it the asli? We say that because it's mamnu min as-sarf, because of the existence of alif, ta'nis, ma'sura. Yeah, ma'sura. This is alif batin. This one, in this case, yes, it's also the same thing, but we don't call this ma'surah. We call this alif amza mamduda. Yeah? Mamduda. And then we have this. This one is masajida kasiratin. Yeah, to show you that this is not a jar, the normal jar. It is jar, but you just can't see the kasra. So this is also the same thing. But in this case, because it is a super plural. Yeah, muntaha jumu. Okay. Now let's look at the 2 reasons, how we will say it for 2 reasons. Baka. Why do you think baka is mamnu min as-sarf? Any suggestions, any ideas? Do you want to see the thing first? I show you the slide, the element, and then maybe you can pick up. Why do you think baka is mamnu min as-sarf? Sister Asila, any ideas?
Sorry, no.
No. Sister BV? Sister BV will know that.
Is the first one. Alamiya,
Okay, Alamia.
the place. And also is, um, it has more than 3 letters. The Arabic name with more than 3 letters.
It
Is that
is not
correct?
about
No,
Ujma.
not because
It's
of.
not about Ujma. Baka is not about Ujma.
Oh,
Baka comes from Arabia.
yeah, there's
So there's something else.
hmm,
Something else. Baka ends with a
Tamat Buta.
yeah. So in that makes it
Feminine.
yes, it's feminine. Yeah.
Is that
So
why?
that's a two.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. So
Okay.
Baka that's something. Yeah. So it's all that. Yes, because it's a name and it's a feminine name. Place. Yeah, feminine. What about this one? This one, yes. You said it already, right? You said it just now. That it is a foreign name. So that's why it's mamnu. Now, what about this one? Ghadban. Ghadban. Why is this partly flexible?
The structure,
Okay, what is it about it? Let's go back
the
to that slide.
mm,
Yeah, the alif nun, yeah, because we have here alif al nun. Is it under alamia or wasf? Wasfia.
I think
Wow,
it's
it's almost
was. Oh, okay, wasfia. This is a sifa, right? Attribute.
okay. Let's have a look at it again. It's a sifa. Yep. But
Mm,
it is meant to be mansub.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah, because it is the hal for
hard,
Musa.
yes.
So for the ones who don't know what hal for Musa is, just take my word for it that this is meant to be mansub. Yeah. So why do I say it's partly flexible then? Why
And
did I
Tanwin.
Yes, so there it doesn't have a tanween. This thing occurs in the Quran many, many times. In the Quran, many, many times. Sometimes we don't even think about it. Yeah, because it happens so often, it doesn't even make a light bulb go boom on. So that's why it's important to recognize this. Yeah, mamnu min nafsah. So in this case, it's normal. Isim mansub. The alamat is of its nasabness is the fathah. Yes. But we need to add this. Walam yunawan. Walam yunawan means it did not take tanwin. It did not take tanwin because it's mamnu min asaf, it's wasfiyah, and as well as it has alif and nun. Yeah, it's wasfiyah. All right. Is that okay? Got that? Because you're all quite quiet, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of a quiz because I really want to know whether you understand or know what I have actually said. So is that okay with you guys if I did like a quiz or something and then you answer the quiz? I can tell whether you follow the lesson or not. Yeah, I think I'll do that. What I'll do is you have a choice. You have a choice. You let me know whether we finish our 7 lessons that I said we would finish before we take a break. Yeah. And then we have like a quiz of maybe 10 to 20 questions, something like that. Depends on what I can come up with. Yeah. And then you want to answer it during the break when I go traveling in November? Or do you want to have it like every lesson, maybe 5 questions, something like that? Would you prefer that? Can you let me know? Which is preferable? a quiz after every lesson, 5 questions, or one big long quiz after 7 lessons of maybe 20 to 30 questions? Which one would you prefer? Maybe you should take a vote. Sister Asila, which would you prefer?
I don't like quiz.
You don't like quiz. But this one is something that, well, it's just a quiz. You just tick the boxes. Again, it's not as if you're going to write anything. Should be not too bad. Okay.
I think it's better if you have after every session.
After every session.
Yeah,
Okay.
to me, I don't know about others. I can.
Well, the decider is Brother Hazim, of course. Is he here? I hope he's here. Is he here or?
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
I
he's
can
here.
see the
Okay.
name. Yeah.
Brother Hazim, what do you think? You want a broken down quiz or do you want one long big quiz at the end? Maybe he's not listening. Maybe it's just
The mic is unmute now.
his mic is on mute.
Yeah, but we can't hear anything.
Yeah, I will ask in the group later on, but okay, maybe it makes more sense to have it after every class.
In that way, I think we can test whether
Once,
you understand each session.
yeah, okay. Inshallah.
Because
Even though Sister Asila doesn't like it, but it is something that needs to be
No,
done.
you go ahead.
Yeah.
Do whatever. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, here it is. When does the provision becomes allowed? So although we say that it is partly flexible, yeah, there are occasions when we can actually unlock it, with the exception of Laila. And there's no way we can unlock Laila because of the Matsura. Yeah, this one we will see. So for other cases, we can. Yeah, when we have an al in front of it, for example, you don't have to say masajida. It can become masajid. Yeah, masajid. The other case is when it is a mudaf. When it is a mudaf, then you have that. You can have the kasra. Yeah, so these are the two cases. But like I said, with the case of Laila, this is not possible because of that alif. Yeah, that alif is a very strong key. It's something that covers, and this is what we will be uh, learning about in the next class. Yes, when we use the muqaddarah statement. Yeah, and with the muqaddarah, we will go on to what we call the mabniyat. The mabniyat are the ones that doesn't show any change. They don't change. They don't change. This is like the pronouns and so on and so forth. Yeah, because they come only in one form. So that's mabniyat. So that's what we will cover next. Yeah. So now I just want to leave here with the Surah Yasin, some of the things in Surah Yasin. Yeah. So we have the word subhan in ayah 36. We have this word fulk. Yes. And we have Adama. Adama. So this middle one, I'm going to leave it for you to think about it. Why is this mamnu min as-sarf? Yes. But this one, we know, alif nun, this should have been subhanan because it is an isim. This is actually a maf'ul mutlaq. Yeah. It should have been subhanan, but because it's mamnu min as-sarf, it ends with alif and nun. It's like here as well. Ya bani adama. Bani adama is an idafa. So this is the word after off. And it should have been jar. It is jar. Only that we don't see the kasra. Instead, we see the fatha. Okay. So think about this one. Last slide. What is this all about? Okay, so that's all for today. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'll do the 5 questions or so. No, and then I will probably post it in the group, maybe on Wednesday, something like that. Yeah, latest by Wednesday. So at least you have a couple of days to see and do the quiz. I hope you will do the quiz, yeah, because this is the only way that we know that you are going through the notes and that whether you yourself understand. It's for your own good. Okay. It's for Allah. Okay, then any questions before we go?
No, I think.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. So then, Subhanallah wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining.
Jazakillah khairan. Sister Zuraida.
Jazakallah khairan.
Okay, thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.